will help you create an assessment in EdConnect, and it is slightly different than last year. Um, I also want to point out that I do have an administrative EdConnect account, so there will be a few things just around here that would not be on your EdConnect if you just have a teacher view, but this will not affect you making an assessment. So you're going to log into EdConnect, and on the left-hand side, you'll see assessments, and there'll be a click down arrow. You will want to go to create and make sure you stay up here where it says test and not down here where it says items, rubric, and passages. You are going to click down create, and this is very important. You must choose manual. Do not choose express, even though it sounds like it will be easier. Manual is the one you want to choose. So you will click manual. It gives you this screen, and in the first box, you're going to want to type a unique test name, whether it be fifth grade formative assessment, number one, or whatever you want to choose to make it easy today. I'm just going to choose sample for the video. Then it prompts me to choose a subject, and I'm going to choose English language and literature. You will choose a grade level. So I will choose fifth grade. You do not choose how many items. You can add as many items as you want. You don't want to put a number in there because then it boxes yourself into having to do that many. The next two, where it says standards template and preferred standards document, it is easier to select a specific standard. That way you do not get 1,000 items in the bank to choose from. So our PLC is doing RI 5.4. So it's easier to go into here to select your standard. It already knows I'm selecting from fifth grade, and it already knows New Jersey ELA because I chose English language and literature. So I'm just going to go down to RI, click down until I find 5.4. Select that, and you can choose another standard, but that's the one we're working with, so I'm just going to choose that one for now. Once you do that, it already fills in that New Jersey ELA Student Learning Standards is your preferred document. The next box you will not have. It will default to My Classroom Assessment. I have to click that because I have administrative view. Do not worry about this. Yours will say My Classroom Assessment. That will be your only choice. The rest of this you're going to leave as is. The very last thing is the co-authoring. This allows your other teachers to be able to take the test that you've created and make a copy and assign it to their own class. I will tell you this system is very finicky in finding names. Sometimes you'll put a last name or a first name and it won't find it, and then you switch it and it will find it. For example, like sometimes I'll put Clarabelle first, not Martinez, and it's taking a long time to search, which it will. It's not you. That's why I'm showing you this. Sometimes it doesn't like first names, so it makes me put a last name in. If somebody has a common name, sometimes I'll just put their last name in instead of Robert. That way it's easier to find. You won't get as many suggestions. But this system is slow, so don't think it is you that you're doing something wrong. You're not. So you want to make sure that you get all of your people at your correct school. There might be, someone with the same last name in another school or another part of the state, and they probably don't want your test. This is probably the thing that takes the most time. But once you get everyone as enabled as a co-author, then you will scroll down and you will click Generate Test. The next screen that comes up is not a friendly screen. You would think right now you're going to start adding items. You don't want to do that right now because if you clicked any of this, like, oh, I want to put multiple choice, it's going to ask you to author them. These are just templates. What you want to do is right here in the middle where it says from item bank, you're going to select that because it's going to give you what it chose because of the standard you chose. So I chose standard RI 5.4. So it narrowed it down to 44 items. If I didn't choose that standard, it could be like 3,000 items, and that's a lot to look through. So on this screen, you're going to notice that it starts off with tasks. They're really not friendly for a quick formative assessment, especially because teachers have to grade this. They will have to go back in and grade them because some of them are where the students type in their answers. So you really want to kind of stick with the multiple choice if you're making a quick assessment. So you will scroll down, and multiple choice is really where you want to kind of work with if you are doing a quick formative assessment. You'll notice that each multiple choice in this situation has a passage attached to it and then a question. The passage will always be attached to it. You can't get rid of it. Even if they show you that there's an excerpt right here, the passage will still attach to it. I'm going to show you two different ways to add a question when I find one that I want to add. So say I want to add a passage from this is a passage from this is a question from a passage called Checkmate, and I am looking over here also because it says level 1 recall. I am guessing, I'm not too sure, but I would believe level 1 is the easiest, and then level 2 would be a more difficult question because it's an application. So I do want to make the first question a little easier than the rest. So I'm going to click over here where it says add. This will have that item added to the test. In this, you'll see here's the passage, here's the question, and when they choose the right answer, it is only worth 1 point. You'll be able to see this in another view, so it's not that important to check it right now. But what is important is that you click save. If you click return to test details, it skips the saving. You really want to click save. And then over here, you will see a choice for add item, and it'll take you back to the 44 items. And you want to choose from item bank again. So now I'm back with my 44 items. I'm going to scroll through the tasks. I don't know why, but once you put one question, then it will put this little bar here where now you can click multiple questions in a test. So once you put the first one, then these boxes appear, which now I can click number 2 and number 3 instead of adding one at a time. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to find a level 2 question that's a little more in depth, and I'll put one in about the Klondike Gold Rush. So I'm going to choose this one. When I look over here, I see it's level 2. And I'm going to scroll down. And I'm going to add one about the violin. And so I will choose that also. Now I have 2 items selected. I'm going to add them to the test. Okay. Now that I have 3, you'll see 1, 2, and 3 over here. I'm going to return to my test details. This is going to show me the test in, oh, I'm sorry. It will prompt you to save, which I should have saved. I did not. Now that I saved it, and just so you know, the save button was at the bottom the same. Now it'll take me back to where I can view it. So now I have the order, it's putting it in the order that I chose them. So the first one was from Checkmate. Here's the passage and here's one. Again, it says actions and it says remove from test for the passage, but it will remove the question. You can't remove the passage from the test. So I have question 1. and it's worth 1 point. It's important to make sure that these are worth 1 point to make it fair, because you want each one equaling the same value. Then you have 2. Here's another point value, which it's worth 1 point. That's great. And then I have question 3, and all of them have passages attached to them. Now, this is where if you choose them out of order by accident and you want to kind of rearrange them, this is where you want to come over to customize test, and you could reorder the questions. So it'll have a little box, and I want to keep number 1, but I want to change number 2 to 3 and number 3 to 2. I want to just switch out that order. So do not click done editing. That's not how it saves. You're going to save the reorder. So now that I save the reorder, I'm happy with the order it's in, but if you notice, this will be item 1, this is item 3, and this is item 2. So it moved them into the correct order, but it didn't change their item number. So again, I'm going to go to Customize Test, and I'm going to go to question numbers. The easiest way to get the question numbers correct is just to, you could go in each box, but it's easiest to say renumber all items starting with the number 1 and apply, and it'll reorder everything using the correct item number. So you'll have question 1, question 2, question 3. When you're happy with your questions and you know that all of them are the same point value, at this point, I always do this because I want to get in the habit, even if I'm co-authoring for somebody else. I always go to test properties. You can't change anything in here without clicking all the way down here and clicking edit properties. And then I always make sure that I have enabled text to speech and save. That way, students that have IEPs will always get the text to speech if it's enabled on their end. I always do that. Even if it doesn't matter in this step, it's a good habit and you'll want to do that. Now, when people go and copy this and assign it to their own kids, they have to do that again, but it's really a good habit to do. So when I'm doing this, I can generate text to speech, and that will take a few minutes to finish out. You can wait, just check it. And when you're happy with everything, you can just click done editing. And this way it will be going into the co-author folder for the other teachers to see. And I did 2 because I did a practice one before, but this would be the most recent one will show on top. So when you go back for it, it will be right here, the one on top. And my next video will be how to get that test out so you can assign it to your own class. I hope this video helps. Thank you.